There's something powerful about holding a good book in your hands. The weight of the pages, the faint smell of paper, the quiet hush that settles in as you turn each page, it's not just nostalgia. It's something deeper, more nourishing. And for many people over 40, especially those entering their golden years, it might just be one of the simplest ways to stay sharp, feel alive, and yes, even live longer. You might not think of reading as a form of self-care. After all, it doesn't require movement like exercise does, or discipline like dieting. But the truth is, reading, especially when it becomes a daily habit, does something remarkable for your body and your mind. It can protect your memory, lower your stress, keep your brain active, and even reduce the risk of death. Surprising, isn't it? Yet, science is starting to catch up with what lifelong readers have quietly known for years. Books don't just change your mind, they may help save your life. Now, I'm not talking about thick, complicated textbooks or highbrow literature that feels like a chore. I'm talking about any kind of reading that brings you joy and holds your attention. Mystery novels, biographies, romance stories, the morning newspaper, even poetry if that's your style. What matters most is that you're reading regularly and deeply enough to get lost in the words. Let's take a step into the first reason why reading every day could help you live a longer, healthier life. It starts with something we all worry about as we age: keeping our minds sharp. Have you ever noticed how reading forces your brain to focus? Even if it's just for 10 or 20 minutes, your mind has to stay with the story, follow the characters, absorb the ideas, imagine the settings. That kind of focused attention is like a mini workout for your brain. And just like walking strengthens your legs, reading strengthens your mental muscles. What researchers have found is that seniors who read regularly are less likely to experience cognitive decline. That means lower chances of memory loss, confusion, or diseases like Alzheimer's. In fact, studies show that people over 65 who read for just 30 minutes a day live on average 2 years longer than those who don't read at all. It's not about the speed or how many books you finish. It's about keeping your mind actively engaged. Like a garden, the brain needs regular tending. Without stimulation, weeds of forgetfulness and confusion can start creeping in. But with reading, you're constantly watering and nurturing those mental pathways. And reading doesn't just exercise the brain. It also helps keep stress at bay, which brings us to another surprising benefit. Imagine this: you're curled up in your favorite chair, maybe with a warm cup of tea beside you, and you're immersed in a story. The outside world fades for a moment. The bills, the aches and pains, the to-do list, all of it steps aside as your mind travels elsewhere. That right there is a powerful stress reliever. Even 6 minutes of reading can reduce stress levels by over 60%, according to researchers from the University of Sussex. That's more effective than listening to music, going for a walk, or even drinking a cup of tea. When you read, your heart rate slows, your muscles loosen, and your mind finds calm. And over time, that kind of regular relaxation can lower your blood pressure, improve your sleep, and reduce the risk of stroke and heart disease. Think about how often we carry stress without even realizing it. Maybe it's the worries about your health, or your grown children, or even just adjusting to a quieter life in retirement. These quiet, constant pressures can wear you down, physically and mentally. But reading gives you a break. It gives your nervous system a reset, and your emotions a safe place to breathe. It's like a daily retreat, no travel needed. So, by now you might be wondering, do audiobooks count? Absolutely. While holding a book has its own charm, listening to stories can offer many of the same benefits. You're still following a narrative, still imagining characters and scenes, still keeping your brain engaged. And for those with tired eyes or arthritis in the hands, audiobooks can be a wonderful way to keep reading alive in your routine. Some people even find that listening to a book while walking or cooking adds a new layer of enjoyment. The key is consistency. Whether you're flipping pages or pressing play, you're keeping your brain awake and your spirit curious. And let's not forget, reading is also a form of connection. Even when you're physically alone, a good story reminds you that you're not truly alone. You're stepping into someone else's world, sharing in their struggles, their joys, their hopes. That kind of emotional engagement is powerful. It keeps empathy alive, even when the house is quiet. It reminds us of who we are and who we still want to be. Now that we've explored how reading sharpens the mind and soothes the soul, let's gently move forward into another reason why books just might be one of the best medicines for growing older with strength and grace. One of the most beautiful things about reading as we age is how it keeps us connected, not just to the outside world, but to ourselves. Books have a quiet way of reminding us that learning never stops. And that brings us to another deeply underrated reason why daily reading can help extend your life. It encourages lifelong learning. You see, when we stop learning, we don't just become stagnant, we start to shrink inside. Not physically, of course, but mentally, emotionally, even socially. The days can begin to feel repetitive. The spark of curiosity that once made us excited to get up in the morning starts to fade. But every time you open a book, you're saying something powerful. I'm still curious. I still want to know more. I still care. And that curiosity, especially in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, isn't just refreshing. It's life-giving. Think about it. Each book you read introduces new ideas, new perspectives, new bits of knowledge that might surprise you. Maybe it's a novel set in a different country, and you suddenly become fascinated with the culture. Or it's a memoir that opens your heart to someone else's experience. Or a history book that fills in gaps you never knew you had. That mental stimulation creates new neural connections. It challenges your assumptions, improves concentration, and gives you something to talk about with others. In fact, seniors who continue learning, even informally through reading, are more likely to stay socially active, more likely to participate in community events, and less likely to fall into loneliness or isolation. And we know how damaging loneliness can be, not just emotionally, but physically. Chronic loneliness has been linked to everything from poor sleep and high blood pressure to depression and even earlier mortality. Books help close that gap. They don't just give you information, they give you something to share. Imagine being part of a small book club at your local library, or even just discussing a novel with a friend over coffee. That sense of connection, of having something meaningful to exchange, can make a world of difference in how we feel day to day. Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you even more. Reading improves sleep. Yes, really. Not all reading, of course, but when done at the right time and in the right way, it can become one of your most soothing bedtime rituals. Picture this: you've had a long day. Your body is tired, but your mind won't stop racing. The television's glare feels too harsh, and your phone just seems to make your eyes ache. But then you reach for a book. The soft rustle of the pages, the slow unfolding of a story, it signals to your brain that it's time to wind down. Unlike screens, which keep your brain alert and disrupt melatonin, reading from a physical book or listening to a calm audiobook can help transition your body into a restful state. This kind of wind-down routine trains your brain to associate reading with relaxation. And the more consistent that habit becomes, the easier it is to fall asleep and stay asleep night after night. And we all know how vital good sleep is, especially as we get older. Poor sleep affects everything from memory and mood to immune function, and even balance and mobility. So if reading helps you sleep better, it's not just about feeling more rested, it's about protecting your entire well-being. It's no wonder that people who make reading a regular part of their evening ritual often report feeling calmer, more centered, and less likely to wake up during the night. It's a small habit with a big impact, and one that doesn't require pills or devices or expensive therapies. Just you and a book, and a few quiet minutes. And if you're thinking, but I can't focus for long, or my eyes aren't what they used to be, that's completely okay. Even reading just 5 or 10 pages a night can make a difference. And as we mentioned earlier, audiobooks are a gentle, eye-friendly alternative that still brings all the benefits, especially if you're tucked into bed, lights low, listening to a calm, steady voice telling a story. Now we've touched on how reading sharpens the mind, lowers stress, inspires curiosity, and improves sleep. But there's another layer to it that often goes unnoticed. Reading can help you find meaning. In a stage of life where roles have changed, where routines may have slowed, and where you may be asking, what now? Books remind you that there's still more to explore. Still more to feel, to learn, to laugh at. Still more life to live. And that's not just poetic, it's practical. People who feel they have purpose and meaning are consistently shown to live longer, healthier lives. They're more likely to stay active, both mentally and physically. They're more resilient in the face of illness. And they're more likely to recover from setbacks. Why? Because they're not just passing time, they're living it. A good book can reawaken your sense of purpose in the most unexpected way. One sentence, one idea, one character's journey can spark something inside you that reminds you of your own strength, your own wisdom, your own story. And when you feel that spark, even for a moment, you carry it with you into the rest of your day. That spark is life. That spark is health. That spark is longevity. So when we say reading helps you live longer, we don't just mean in years, we mean in depth, in richness, in vitality. It helps you live better. Let's keep following this journey, because there's still one more reason that ties everything together. A reason that might just change the way you see yourself and your future from this day forward. By now, you might already be feeling that little nudge. That feeling that says, maybe it's time I pulled a book off the shelf again. And if you are, then you're already tapping into the fourth and perhaps most powerful reason seniors who read every day tend to live longer. It strengthens emotional resilience. Life, as we know, doesn't slow down after 60. In many ways, it becomes even more complex. We navigate losses of people, of routines, sometimes even of identity. We face changes in our bodies, in our families, and in how the world sees us. It's not always easy. But reading gives us an extraordinary tool to cope with those changes, perspective. When we read, we step into someone else's shoes, even if just for a few pages. We watch characters struggle, heal, laugh, rebuild, and carry on. And something beautiful happens inside us. We begin to see that we're not alone. Our challenges are not unique, and they are not insurmountable. Whether it's a novel about a woman finding joy again after loss, or a memoir of someone who started over at 70, those stories wrap around us like a warm blanket and whisper, "You're going to be okay." That's emotional resilience. It's the ability to bend without breaking, to feel deeply, but keep going. And the more we read, the more we build that strength quietly, page by page. This isn't just feel-good talk. Studies have shown that people who regularly read fiction tend to score higher in empathy and emotional intelligence. They're better at navigating relationships, managing stress, and staying hopeful through difficult seasons. Even nonfiction can do this. A good self-help book, a biography of someone you admire, or even a spiritual text can offer not just knowledge, but comfort. They remind you of what matters most. They remind you of who you are. And the wonderful thing is you get to choose. Your reading journey doesn't have to follow anyone else's rules. You might prefer gentle stories over dramatic ones, or poetry over long novels. You might love flipping through cookbooks or gardening guides, or diving into science articles that blow your mind. Whatever speaks to you, follow it. Because the best kind of reading is the kind that makes you feel more like yourself. The kind that brings you back home. Now, if you're someone who hasn't read in a while, that's okay too. Life gets busy, and sometimes we forget how much we love something until we return to it. But the good news is, it's never too late to begin again. Not at 50, not at 70, not even at 90. Your brain still responds, your heart still listens, and your life still grows. So here's what I want you to take away from all this. Reading isn't just a hobby. It's a form of self-care. It's exercise for your mind, rest for your soul, and sometimes even medicine for your body. It reduces stress. It improves sleep. It keeps your mind sharp and your spirit curious. It helps you stay connected, find meaning, and build emotional strength that will carry you through anything life puts in your path. And you don't have to do it perfectly. There's no right book to start with. No rule that says you have to finish every chapter or remember every detail. Just read what brings you joy. Read what comforts you. Read what challenges you in a good way. Keep a book by your favorite chair. Download an audiobook to listen to during a walk. Visit your local library or swap books with a friend. Let reading become part of your rhythm, just like a cup of tea or a short walk in the evening. Because those small habits, repeated daily, can create big changes over time. And if one of those habits is reading, well, you're not just adding years to your life. You're adding life to your years. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone you care about. Maybe it'll inspire them to pick up a book again, too. And if you have a favorite book that changed your life, we'd love to hear about it in the comments. You never know who your recommendation might help. And if you found this video helpful or uplifting, go ahead and give it a like. It helps us reach more people just like you. Make sure to subscribe for more inspiring, practical tips to help you live your healthiest, happiest life at any age. Here's to long walks, great stories, and peaceful evenings with a book in hand. Here's to living your best life, one page at a time.